Yeah. Man.
Yeah, Benita, we can have Bernie's with trees.
Yeah.
We need to find like what tree is like rhymes or in the same world as Bernie's. And boom. That's the whole film right there. No, my neighbors are serious about their trees. So of course, just like, FOMO, right? If everyone's like talking about the trees and asking about the tree, you start noticing the trees. So now I walk around the neighborhood and I start going, man, that's a big ass tree. Is mine's bigger? I think it is. And I just keep walking. And even people come to me, you got the biggest tree on the street. And I'm like, yeah, dude. All right, thanks. Thanks for the award. If you're not gonna give it an award, don't mention it, right? That's how I am. If you're not gonna give me a legitimate award or something that's like I could use as a compliment, I can't use I got the biggest tree on the street resume or anything like that. I don't care about trees like that, but I love my tree. It's beautiful. It's just a little over the top.
You heard it here, everybody. John loves his tree.
You love it. That's good to know.
It's good to know.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I'll name it. And if I love something, I'll name it.
What do you call it?
I haven't decided between three names, so go behind three names.
How long have you been deciding between these names?
For about a couple weeks since I got back from Columbus. It's a big ass tree, man. So every time I see another tree, I'm like, nah, that name's that tree. You need a different name. I walk around like Adam in the Garden of Eden, pondering, what do I name this? Tree. No, that's not right. That's stupid. Who was he talking to when he was naming it? Was he talking to the animals that he named? All right, Badger. We got to figure out what this animal is.
His best friend's a badger. I love it. Out of all the animals in the garden. All right, Badger. You ready to name some more stuff today?
Yeah.
That Badger's slow. He got left out the good book, though. But you didn't mention
everybody.
Me.
Didn't mention. I named everybody. The hell with Adam. The hell with him and all of his sinning and shit. No.
I told him not to do it.
I'm sure somebody in the garden, all those animals he named, somebody had to give him a, come on, man.
Hey, man, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
It's the serpent. Remember, you did not like naming the serpent because you didn't even like him. And you're listening to him? Damn it, man. You damned us all. What was it? It was some show, Supernatural, I was watching. And in one of the episodes of Supernatural, there was an angel who apparently fell asleep and let, Satan in the garden, right? So the way they built the story was it was actual angel who was responsible for making sure that no threats get into the garden, paradise. And he fell asleep like the monkey off Ace Ventura. So they had him in prison for like eternity. Like he was just sitting in jail. His one job that he was supposed to do, the thing he was created for, he blew it. Now, in his defense, if I was his lawyer, like, come on, God, you knew this would happen, right? He had to. Why is he in prison? That should not happen, right? Don't put him in prison for something that he was born to do. He was born to guard it and inevitably let evil in, right? That's what he was there for.
Why'd you let him? Why do you even need to sleep? Why do you even give him the ability to get tired? You knew that was the only way they could get by.
Security guard.
Your Honor, I can't. Did we not see the whole?
This is liar because he should have got off for that. You're a terrible liar.
There was no way he was gonna win a judge against his peers, and the judge is God. God gave him the ability to like telling him that he sucked, right? You are the one that started this. That's not gonna happen. So he threw him into jail. And the Supernatural, it was funny how they try to connect it, but my thoughts were, that's so ridiculous, man. Like, why would I? My child, like, I don't tell my child things as a pet peeve of mine. I don't tell my kid to do something I know she's gonna fuck up. Like, take all these glass plates into the kitchen. Don't you dare drop them. She's gonna drop them, right? Why would I give her that task? So that I can piss myself off if I know I'm gonna be pissed off if she drops them, right? That's how I feel about the angel in the garden. It's like, you know, this dude is gonna try him, and he's gonna try him on his weakest moment. And we all know what his weakest moment is, right? You want this to happen, dude. But why'd you throw him in jail? I don't get it.
What punishment?
Punish him for something you knew was gonna happen. That's cold, man. Anyway, next topic. Next topic. I didn't want to lose this as I was getting off. As we all know, the actor Micheal K Williams. Hopefully I spelled that right. I did not. Let me put some respect on him.
Is your keyboard fighting back? Look like you got There we go.
Yes. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I know
There we
him
go. Finally.
from the role most people know him from, The Wire, Omar. Fantastic,
Omar.
fantastic role.
Omar.
One of my favorite characters on that show.
He's absolutely my favorite character. He was in Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country, yeah.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, I believe. He was in a ton of wonderful roles. Apparently, they found him in his apartment. They believe there was some drugs involved. It was sad to hear because I immediately when I heard it, like I thought to myself, and once I said it, I thought how stupid. I was like, please don't let it be drugs, right? As if dying has different levels to it. He's gone, right? Like, oh, please don't let it be that, be fire or something. But my thoughts were like, I hope it was not something against his own self. That was what I meant. Like, what for this guy to go out, you know, with this dealing with this addiction problem, or some people speculate. To me, it hit close to home. And when I did more research, I found out that he did have a drug problem that even manifested itself during The Wire, which was a very interesting, based on the type of show The Wire was and how to deal with the subject matter and still have that kind of struggles. But I wanted to, one, do a moment of silence for him, and also just kind of hear how you guys were impacted by him as well. So let's do a moment of silence first. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shout out to Michael. But yeah, how did you guys, like, what was your impact with him? What was your favorite film of his? What favorite line, character? Show him some love. But yeah, C-Town, what y'all think?
Yeah, it's just been so much loss of life recently, not to diminish, losing him, but it's so much, and it's getting to be unbearable, especially when it's such a great performer, the guy knew his craft. He's always a joy to watch. I didn't watch The Wire. I'm one of the few people, so I don't have Game of Thrones. My resume doesn't include Game of Thrones, The Wire. I'm trying to think of all the big Walking Dead. What's the other one with the guy who sold crystal meth? That one. So I never watched Breaking Bad. I didn't watch any of those shows. But I did watch Lovecraft, and I thought he was superb in Lovecraft Country. So
Yeah.
shout out to Michael.
Yeah, I'll say this. So I did watch The Wire. I enjoyed it a whole lot. And though, if I remember correctly, Wire was one of those shows where they would cast actual. Where did it take place? Maryland.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
Baltimore, right? Where they cast actual Baltimoreans, like non-actors, in the show, and seeing him play this character, right? And you look at him, he has like a huge scar on his head. He plays the character really well. I was like, man, what is this dude's history? Because he is killing it on this role. And then it turns out he's actually gay on the show as well, which like brought in a whole new element to him. So I was like, this guy's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that's how I know him.
Man, it's gotta have a code. Every time I think of him, I think of Omar's quote, man, and how complex that character was, but he nailed it, man. He really performed it. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. That was definitely like a super memorable character. Like, and one of the characters on that show who, you just kind of, no matter what you felt, you had respect for him, and the way he played it was just so great. And he had done a bunch of other things recently too in the last few years. He played a bunch of varied roles, and he was always like wonderful. So.
Yeah.
Much
Shout out to Micheal K Williams. If anybody's still watching, fans of Micheal K Williams, put your favorite movie that you watched with him in it, or one of his favorite characters, just to show some love. Because we were all taken by that. And Tandi, you said it too, man. I felt like, man, like we've been losing a lot of entertainers recently.
Young people.
Yeah.
People, almost not quite 50, just after 50.
He wasn't Superfly. He wasn't Superfly. I forgot he was in Superfly. He was good at Superfly too. The rappers, like I'm always like, man, every time a rapper gets killed, I'm like, oh my goodness, man. It's not that I think it's, like, like even if I listen to their music and I'm like, well, he talked a lot about rap killing people, he still loses his life, man. This kid or this person has lost their life, and you can't ever get that back. We'll never get any more music from that person. We'll never get any more projects from a Micheal K Williams. Like that's what hurts, right? So it saddens me to see like nowadays, like it's almost like every month, a new entertainer. And then when you got the pandemic on top of it, you never know what you're going to be at the end of that airline either. So it's crazy to think about. Yep. Speaking of which, Tandi, if you've never seen The Wire, oh my goodness, man. Speaking of The Wire, it's such a good show, man. It's extremely well written and easy to follow for what the content is, man. And it was one of the only shows, not even Breaking Bad did this to me, right? There's only 2 shows that actually made me stop and like go, I need to like process what I just watched. And it was The Wire. And just especially the season with the schools, man. That one was one of the most hard to sit through. Like, even though I enjoyed it, it was hard to process television I've ever watched outside of like When They See Us. That was the only other show I've ever seen where I was like, I could have sat through a horror movie and it wouldn't have scared me like this. Like this.
And he was in When They See Us. He was in When They See Us too.
And he was in When They See Us as well. He was a father, and he killed that role because, oh my God, that was such a horrible like experience to kind of connect to. But man, you gotta see The Wire. They should
How many
The Wire.
seasons?
They
How
should
many
teach that
seasons?
as 5. You don't really need to see the 5th one,
Okay.
which I think is the
Good,
last
because that's the one I fell off on. I need to.
That was the most. That was terrible. It was.
There's a
ass,
reason
it
you
was
got off.
ass butter. That one. But the one with the man. Oh,
The kids came in on season 4, I believe.
4, man. That was a hardest season for me. Like anything with children, especially I was working in the schools and seeing it captured like that. Like when you're working in the school district, there's stories like that you hear all the time. But watching it just connected in a very visual way and with all the context was like, ooh, it was crazy. You got to watch it. It's not it's a still enjoyable thing to watch. I just thought that one to me was hard for me, seeing how those kids ended up where they ended up and how that all kind of fits into the cycle of what's going on in that area, right? It was deep, man. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But on a lighter note, next topic. Yeah. Ivermectin.
All right, John. So break it down for me, because I'm out of the loop on the whole Ivermectin debacle. I've heard some stuff about dewormers and whether or not you're actually getting rid of worms or like your stomach lining or something. So
yeah. So
that's all I know.
Ivermectin is an anti-parasite. This is according to Google, right? Looking at Google's definitions. It can treat infections caused by roundworms, threadworms, and other parasites. Notice that was the only thing that was there. It also says if you're pregnant, you should consult your doctor if you're going to take that. And it also says you should avoid alcohol if you're taking ivermectin. Now, why that is a topic for our conversation is some Americans have been using ivermectin to combat symptoms of COVID-19, COVID-20, whatever. This drug has not been cleared, including the manufacturers, on using it as something to treat COVID. But yet there's this building group of individuals who have been using it. Even people like Joe Rogan, who has caught COVID and used it with supplements and with other supplements to go with it as well. Not the vaccine, though, right? Mm-hmm. That, right? So to me, what I thought was interesting was ivermectin wasn't something that anyone has treated COVID with before. And from my understanding, it's being tested on those symptoms now. Nothing's been approved, but yet there have been people who have overdosed from using it in the animal quantity level of the drug. So it is something that could be treated for humans, but they also use certain levels and dosage for horses and dogs, and people have been using high levels of it to combat COVID, dying and overdosing on the drug. And like I said, even notable people are like, yeah, they're using it, they're using it. I think it's ridiculous, man. And I'm not saying this to anybody who's using it, that's listening. My thing is, if you're using it, but you have a vaccine, it's still ridiculous, but whatever. You can do whatever you want, fundamentally, to your body. If you haven't gotten the vaccine and you're using it, I need to hear some of the logic. And I might look at you like you're ridiculous, and I'm being nice when I say that. But that's essentially what's been going on, this whole situation of people are using this drug that's not approved for it. And even more so, there's a family who is taking it to the judge level to get, because they're 74-year-old father, grandfather.
Is that significant to you, Tandi?
No, that's what I was talking about before. I was like, okay, he pulled up the info on it. Go ahead, read, John. Read.
Yeah. So it says, hold hold on, let me pull back. My screen just moved. But a 74-year-old man died recently. I think he died on Monday after a month-long battle with COVID-19. And his family filed a lawsuit over being able to use the drug Ivermectin to treat his condition. And the judge ruled in their favor. The issue was the doctor from the hospital originally said that they would not give him that drug because there was no evidence, essentially, that it would help him fight COVID. But what's interesting is the judge approved it, right?
That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I agree. It doesn't make sense. First off,
this is Texas too, by the way. This is Texas.
Yeah, of course.
Can't you go to another doctor? I don't know how that works. I don't know what John went.
No, he was in the hospital. You can't just switch around.
You can't fire your doctor?
I mean, let me see. They could probably switch you to another doctor in the hospital. However, I doubt that whatever hospital that was, they were going to find a physician who'd be willing to treat that patient with Ivermectin.
And isn't that weird that none of the doctors wanted to give him this thing?
No,
it's also like, why does a judge outrank a doctor?
That's the second thing.
The physician.
What medical background?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
At all.
Because in Texas, that's how they run it, right? Like we've seen Texas states and even some southern states put the judge in, basically give him a medical degree and allows them to make these scientific decisions, right? Most of these decisions go through rigorous medical examination. I'll give you an example for those who are watching who don't understand what doctors do. So my wife who battled cancer, right? In order for us to go into, let's say, have a pregnancy, right? To see if a pregnancy was okay, a team of doctors, hundreds of MD Anderson doctors. MD Anderson is like the Michael Jordan that kills cancer, by the way, right? Even hundreds of them had to sit and review my wife's case to get the most accurate medical opinion, right? Imagine if 100 judges had to decide on whether my wife was supposed to have a kid or not, right? What relevant information are they going to use that's going to make the most legitimate decision? Right now, I just felt like things became so politicized, man, that there's no way that a judge should make that decision in any circumstance. And there's 100 things that we can actually put and switch COVID out and see if that actually will make sense. And it doesn't, man. Not for every case. But
there's just a war. There's just a war between politics and science right now. It's just a flat out war. There's no scientific background that a judge needs to have.
Here's what's funny about that, right? I used to get in arguments with people who blame religion for all of the world's problems. Oh, religion. We got rid of religion. The world would do this. The world would be better. People would stop being racist. People would stop killing people. People would stop being evil. And I would say the problem with that logic is the bigger equation is the human that's involved in that problem. So now you switch religion out and we have politics going against science. My point is, yes, we have so much dissonance in this country, possibly even globally, that it doesn't matter if it's politics. It could be, tall versus short. People are, tall people aren't taking. We find every way to do what we want to do if people give us the room to do it, right? Especially if you have a system that you can go around or use to make what your personal truth is, or the thing that you want to be real, now be something people have to live by, right? And that's crazy, right? There's a difference between what's factual and things that what people have to live by. And that's insane. Can you imagine, as an asthma patient, I'm an asthmatic, have asthma my whole life. Imagine if the doctor said, John, all these inhalers we've been using, we're actually doing tests to use dewormer. If you take the dewormer, it's a good chance that this asthma attack, when you have it, it'll help the asthma attack, right? Like, that's insane. But if you do that as a judge, then you could possibly get to the point where now politics are pushing a doctor to start giving out whatever, right? I remember when Michi said before the conversation, right? When do we tell the doctors? Like, when does it change when you are actually telling the doctor, I want this. Cut my heart open right now and do this ventricle. Don't do the other two. I just want this one done. 3 a block, though. I get it. Just clean one, because I don't trust the other two. I don't know if you're telling the truth.
Now I'm going to jump in on that, because I think there's a bit of a caveat here, at least in my opinion. Yes, the doctor has the experience, the knowledge, they went to school. However, the choices that they recommend are not always the most, this is going to sound weird, in my opinion, not always the most healthy for their patients, right? Some of these medications can be so harsh on you, the side effects, yada, yada, right?
Sure.
I think being able to have background and have a conversation with a doctor about why they're recommending something to you. What is it supposed to do? When do you see the results? Can you break down how that works in the body? If you can get to that point and have some sort of background yourself to have that conversation instead of just trusting them, I think you may find there are other options sometimes that you're not aware of.
Absolutely. You can always get an opinion. I've never had a doctor, say, I'm not going to give you, don't come back here if you don't take my advice. I've never had him say that, right?
We come to a restaurant where Tandi's sitting down to eat her meal. Okay, ma'am. I know you ordered the steak, but I actually went ahead and brought you out the chicken. I talked to we have a judge and a doctor on staff, and I talked to them, and they decided that this will be a better choice for you.
That unusual. But I don't want to eat chicken. I've had chicken every night this week.
Right.
Today's Friday. Today's steak night. I usually try to have a steak every Friday, and I just want my steak, man.
Okay, yeah, great. I went to the kitchen. I put the order in, and the judge and the doctor, they conferred, as they do for every meal that's eaten here, and they said every meal, yeah, we have a team of judges and doctors on staff, and they said this is what you need to have. This is what you should have today. So, got you the roasted chicken with some seasonal vegetables.
Oh wow!
Which we yeah.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Are you the owner of the white Camry outside?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. You just got towed. I know we valeted your car, but the doctors recommended us to move the car to a different location. It was quite hazardous for us walking in the dark place. So it got towed. I just want to let you know that.
God.
Here's your ticket.
And the doctors and the judges decided on where my car goes to.
Well, for the staff, they just wanted to make sure that we were safe when we're parking the cars in the area that's not well lit. So they made an executive decision, and we had to move it.
Mm-hmm. Y'all need to put this on the menu, on the door, or something that your choices will be vetoed by a doctor and a judge if they disagree with them. Because I don't think a lot of people know that can happen when they come to this restaurant. That you can think that you're in control of some things, you follow rules, you follow the process, and then it's overridden.
Okay, sorry. 1 second. Hold on. Okay. Sorry to talk to me from my earpiece. They're saying you need to calm down a little bit. That you're gonna agitate. Your blood pressure's gonna get high, and they don't want that happening to you. So they want you to think of like puppies or something nice and soft.
They want to control how I think.
No, ma'am. They just don't want you to get too excited. If they get too excited, the nurses will come and take you to the back and actually start to get you, hooked up to some IVs.
Are you kidding me? Are you?
We get to a lawyer's office. Oh yeah, I think you have a rock solid case here. This is appalling stuff. You're saying that the nurses took you to the back, hooked you up to a blood pressure machine, and made you squeeze a ball.
Yeah, And I signed nothing. I did not give them authorization to do anything.
I'll tell you, this country is going to hell in a handbasket. That
Yes,
was
it
steak
is.
night for you, was it
Steak
not?
night, one night a week. That's all I ask.
One night. You earned that in America. You earned
Yes.
that. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to take this to the top. This is a
Thank you. I
great
knew
case
you.
you got here. Now tell me
Thank
about
you.
this car that you lost. All right, tell me about the car.
Well, yeah, my white Camry. So I give it to the valet. He parks it for me, and about 15 minutes later, he comes to the restaurant and says that the judges and the doctors told him to move it because it was a hazard to the people who work there, but they're the ones who parked it there in the first place.
And what's the story behind the car? Where'd you get it from? Was it handed down, or what happened?
No, it was just a purchase that I made.
Okay, well, when we go to court, you received it from your mom, all right?
Huh?
Your mom worked after hours, 2 jobs to get you that car so you can get to work to get the money to have that steak night.
Why?
You hear me?
No, why would I say that? That's not true. I'll be under oath.
Oh, your case is looking a little less rock solid right now based on what you're telling me. I thought you were going to fight this. I thought you wanted to take this to the top. I'm with you.
I do. I want to fight it. You're the best.
Then
I can't.
I need you to tell the truth. You know what I mean? The truth.
Come on, man. Don't make me perjure myself.
Who said the P word? Nobody in this office said the P word. All right. I'm going to get this court date scheduled. You're going to go on the stand. You're going to tell your story.
I'm going to tell the story because I want these guys stopped. I want everybody to be able to go to a restaurant and eat what they want to eat.
Exactly. That's the American way. That's the America that people died for. Go to a restaurant, order some, and get that on your plate.
Right, and not be subjected to some medical treatment in the back next to the dishwashers.
Now, be honest with me, lawyer and all. How is your heart?
What?
I
guess
if there's any complications, I need to know about that.
No, there's.
That's right. That's right. There's no complications.
No. Hold up.
You're being honest.
What is going on here? I'm okay, Mr. Lewis. I'm.
We cut to the courtroom. Well, after reviewing all of the evidence, it looks like Miss Tandi, you do suffer from some early onset of diabetes and some pre-heart failure.
Now, Your Honor, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I definitely did not hear this from my client who told me that she was in perfect health.
Well, when I checked the records, the diagnostic records from the restaurant that this gentleman here just handed me, it shows a complete diagnostic from head to toe on Miss Tandaway here, and it shows that they saved her from potentially dying right there that night from a heart attack if she would have ate one bite of that steak.
Now, Your Honor, I'm willing to side with my client over some dumb piece of paper. What we have right here, we have a steak actually right over here, medium rare, side of mashed potatoes. We're going to bring it out. My client is going to eat it right here in this courtroom, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see her enjoy her meal and walk out a healthy woman.
Tandi, if you have a heart attack, you will be arrested and fined and have to pay the court cost of this here restaurant. Do you understand?
We will take it to hospital first, just so you know. But we'll arrest you later.
Okay.
Do you understand that before you take a bite out of here? You can and will be arrested as soon as you are resuscitated from your heart attack.
A waiter has brought it out. It's on a very nice plate. It's smoking. The whole courtroom smells. It smells good. Steak knife right next to it. Juice is sort of running. There's butter on top that's perfectly melted.
I see there's some garlic butter sitting on top. That's got to be about 300 grams of sodium right there. Are you sure you want to eat?
Would you like anything to drink as well?
I want the freedom to have a steak. But you're saying that they ran a full diagnostic on me, just that one tube of blood.
Complete diagnostic, head to toe.
Now you're in perfect health, right? You're not gonna have a heart attack, right?
Remember, you will have to pay all court costs and fines of the defendant here. I mean, the prosecuting team here. Short call. This is something your lawyer requested. I'm just trying to make sure my court is here and able to get down to justice. Are you going to suck on some of that garlic butter on this here steak and hope your heart don't give out like an 87 Chrysler? Or are you going to just go ahead and settle this out of court and pay that bill and the medical bill you owe that restaurant? $15,000, by the way.
And just before she takes a bite, a guy bursts into the courtroom and runs up to the judge. Judge, here from the court HOA. Here from the court HOA. Your gavel's too big. It's too big according to our regulations. You need to get a smaller gavel.
Get a smaller gavel.
Get a smaller gavel right now, or we're gonna have to shut this whole court down.
What jurisdiction does the HOA have? When did it go outside of neighborhoods and now to the U.S. government? Is our country going to hell in a hot basket?
Actually, Judge, sorry, the court was rezoned into the Sunny Valley.
Yeah. God damn it.
So,
He's a professional HOA member. He's been doing it all his life. He'll know.
Yeah.
Is that true, bailiff? Are we in the wrong zoning district? Because if so, we got to throw this whole court case out and get me a smaller gavel.
And see.
Hey man, make your way. It's like TSA for like the neighborhood.